What's going on, Luke?
How much, man? How are you?
I'm doing well.
Yeah?
It's, you know what? We get to set the clocks back or forward
Yeah.
in less than 2 weeks.
Spring forward.
I am so excited for this.
I know, dude.
It's so nice, like 6 o'clock, almost 7 o'clock, it's still kind of light.
Mm-hmm.
And just to throw that extra hour, I can't...
It's like subconscious.
Yeah, I can't explain how good that does, how much good that does for me.
Yeah, because you get off work and you feel like there's still day left.
I can go do things outside.
Mm-hmm.
I can mow my grass and do other things, have dinner, and still have some daylight to go chill outside.
Right.
Like, I'm super excited for
Are
that.
you of the mindset there's always talk around time change of doing away with it?
You know, there's that argument, right? Like, I'm okay. I would be okay if I didn't have to worry about it anymore.
Sure.
I don't know. I don't know what life looks like in the wintertime without doing it.
Right. I think for me, if we were going to do it, I think we turn the clocks forward and then don't change them again.
Yeah.
So that we still keep the evening light hours, but then just in the winter, it's different.
Yep. Yeah, that would be. I'm game to try it.
Yeah.
I
don't think we'll ever do it. I don't think it will ever change, but, you know.
And it's just a weird, stupid thing that we do.
Yeah, I mean, it's like...
That we continue to do.
Like, it's like imperial versus metric. You know, it's like we just...
Yeah.
We need to be special, different little snowflakes here.
That's us.
Yeah.
That's America.
That's all right, though.
So this is the Android Guys podcast.
Yeah.
We appreciate you listening. If you're just joining us for the first time, if you like the show, consider subscribing to it.
Yes, please.
Share it with somebody if you think they would be interested in it. What we typically do is the second segment, which comes up after this short break. Luke and I will unbox a couple of products and kind of show them off, give you some hands-on early impressions, and kind of describe that for you as best as we can.
Yep.
So on a podcast, that does kind of play a little different for some people.
Yeah.
But we do a video version of this as well.
Mm-hmm.
So consider looking us up on YouTube and subscribing to that.
Yes.
Watching the videos, sharing, liking, doing all the fun stuff that helps the algorithm and helps us as well. We would definitely appreciate that.
Yeah.
So for today's episode, coming up, Luke is going to, or we will, take a look at the ZHIYUN Smooth 5 Combo. It looks like a gimbal and accessories.
Smartphone gimbal,
Yeah.
with some accessories.
And then we also have a new Wear OS watch to take a look at. That's the TicWatch Pro 3 Ultra GPS.
Yep.
That's a mouthful.
Yep.
So we will do those after the break. And then one more quick housekeeping note. We are trying a new microphone today.
Yeah.
This is different than our setup normally. If you watch the video, you'll see that we've pretty much removed any camera or any type of microphone from the frame.
Yeah.
So we're
A little cleaner.
We're experimenting with the Shure MV7, and it's a podcast kit.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting little guy to set up because of some of the software that comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
We are recording this using Farfield.
Yeah.
So it is across the table from us, and we're kind of talking at its direction.
Mm-hmm.
So we will be curious as to how this comes out in post. But if you're watching video, we have all kinds of space to play with now.
Yeah. Normally there's like mic stands and stuff, and it's...
an arm and frame or coming up through the center.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
There's so put them in your pocket. There's so much space. You can just stand there and hold them up. So if you have been watching, we appreciate it. Let us know what you think of the new layout. If you've been listening and you notice anything different in the quality, we would love to hear that as well. You can contact us at podcast@AndroidGuys.com.
Mm-hmm.
So, Luke, you ready to take a break and jump into some unboxing?
For sure.
All right, we'll be right back. Okay, Luke, it's unboxing time.
Sure is.
We got some hands-on, some products to show. The first one we're going to do is the Smooth 5 Combo.
Yeah.
From ZHIYUN.
ZHIYUN?
ZHIYUN?
We don't know.
ZHIYUN.
ZHIYUN?
You tell us.
I don't know. So this is a combo kit, but it's basically a gimbal for your smartphone. We had the ZHIYUN XS. We did a review on that. Great, low budget entry kind of gimbal. Worked great. And then this is just a continuation of it. First of all, it has this pouch, which is a big improvement.
That's a nice pouch.
The other one was just a bag, but this is a nice branded pouch, and it has a pocket in the front for like cables or anything like that, which is a nice feature. Let's open this guy up and see what we got. All right, so first things first, it is has a Velcro strap to Velcro it in and keep it, and there's a little bit of looks like foam here. I don't know if you would keep that in. It's not attached, so maybe that was just for the initial storage. But you got the gimbal here. Got a little bit of foam here.
It's a pretty nice looking unit.
Yeah, for sure.
So, Luke, what is the benefit of a gimbal?
So a gimbal will stabilize your shot, stabilize your shooting, so that you can have the look and feel of like a steady cam, a high-end steady cam for a motion picture.
So instead of holding your phone and trying to get artsy shots of a product or something, or following somebody on a skateboard, something like this allows you to kind of track the person.
Right.
In a way that isn't just really trying to figure out your hand, because it'll articulate and follow and do all the fun cinematography that you can't capture just by using your hands.
So initially, it looks like they've really improved this setup from, it's a lot more going on than it was in the XS, and then from the 4, this is even an improved setup. So it's got a USB-C charging. It's got a lock, so you can lock this gimbal if you want to lock the motion. Once it gets to a certain spot, it locks in place. And then you got some function buttons. They have a completely designed little hub unit here. You got menu, a follow focus or a focus wheel, which is a really nice touch. And a dedicated record button on the side for your thumb if you want, and one here, and then you can move around. You got some light adjustment. The other thing that this comes with is, so there's a little hand strap, but it comes with a magnetic light, which is a new kind of accessory. So that snaps on, and looks like there's no buttons on the light here, so I'm guessing it's controlled with the software in the ZY Cami app.
Yep.
This thing does work with, at least from what I've seen online, it works with the Filmic Pro app, which is a kind of a high-end, full control camera app if you're doing, kind of more professional video stuff, or feature, we've seen smartphones, full movies shot on smartphone now. So Filmic Pro kind of gives you a lot more control over your phone camera than you have with your manufacturer's applications. The thing is nice. It's sturdy. It's like a aluminum alloy kind of build, it looks like.
So what are these little guys on the end there that you snapped on?
These look like different filters for light, if you want to have kind of like a red glow, or there's yellow and amber, and then kind of looks like a blue. And they're stackable too, so maybe you could, if you do the red and the blue together, you might be able to get a purple kind of cast or something like that.
Sure.
Pretty interesting idea. I like that it's magnetic. There's some pouches in this bag too, so you can keep all of that stuff in there, which is nice. In here they also give you, there's some warranty information, and it looks like they give you access to ZHIYUN Prime.
It's like a membership card.
Yeah, which is it's probably a little bit extra features on the ZY Cami application. You got a USB-C to A cable in here. And then the other thing down here, this other accessory, is a little tripod mount. So you can screw that onto the bottom, and it will make it so you can use this gimbal tabletop. And the cool thing about that is in the ZY Cami app, they have like a smart follow. So you can do, if you're a content creator and you're a solo operator, you know, you can set up where it's set to follow you. And if you're working on a table and you're, you know, moving back and forth, it'll follow you without having you have to control it in the app. The other cool thing, though, is you can control it in the app if there's somebody else. If you have a second person and you have this just on a table, they can move and turn that gimbal in the app too, which is cool. Pretty awesome. So a lot of functionality for low budget content creators, something like that. This thing comes in at, I think it's on special right now for $219.
$219.
Regular price is $249, I believe. It seems like that sounds like a decent chunk of money, and don't get me wrong, $250 is a decent chunk of money. But when you start getting into professional video equipment, $219 is really
sure for the combo.
Nothing for what it does.
Now it looks like, excuse me, according to the website, for about $170 you can do just the gimbal.
Okay. So
for the extra money, you're getting the looks to be the lights and the carrying case. And it looks like so if it's about $40 for those.
It looks like it has a spot here, a little threaded insert. So if you wanted to screw in an attachment for like a microphone, if you wanted a shotgun mic or something like that, you could do that. Yeah, seems like they kind of thought of everything for the, you know, on-the-go content creator. I'm really interested to see how this light works.
Looks like you can put it on the other end too.
Yeah, no matter what way you want to do it. And it's magnetic too. I think that's genius.
Yeah.
Really, really smart design. Very ergonomically comfortable.
Oh yeah.
And it's not heavy. It's not super heavy. That's the thing with professional video equipment, especially if you're shooting something prolonged. If you're walking around, maybe at a convention or something, shooting content. After a day of doing that, carrying a big camera rig and something like that, it's gonna be tiring. But
sure,
something like that, if it can tuck away and you know, kind of go away into some little pouch like this. It's got a nice handle on the side, but this is easily something that'll go inside a backpack. Man, it's a quick way to level up your smartphone video game.
Yep,
definitely. Yeah, so that's the ZHIYUN Smooth 5
combo kit,
gimbal combo kit.
So we'll get this, put it to the test and see if we come back, maybe share some insight later on another episode.
Definitely.
Cool. Thank you, Luke.
No problem.
Okay, time for another one.
Yeah.
This one, it's been a while since we've reviewed, at least on this podcast, or unboxed, I should say, a smartwatch wearable.
Yeah.
With Wear OS.
Right. That's the key distinction.
Yeah. So this Wear OS used to be called Android Wear. It's gone through a handful of iterations over the years and improvements. Kind of feels like one of those things that stagnates, gets refreshed. Stagnates, gets refreshed. But there are some really cool watches out there, hardware-wise, that are interesting, quality devices. Wear OS kind of started out as every smartphone maker, every player in the game was trying their hand at it.
Yep.
And as time has proven, a lot of those companies kind of bow out of that and leave it to more traditional watchmakers.
Yep.
So you just happen to have watch manufacturers who also offer a digital version
Right.
or a Wear OS.
I think it seemed like what happened is a lot of the phone manufacturer, electronic manufacturers pushed the wearables, and then the watchmakers were like, whoa, 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 let us do it because we know watches.
Yep.
This is what we do. But they had to switch into, making digital and coding and making a OS, and it's different kind of form for a watchmaker,
Yep.
right? So
this one is the TicWatch Pro 3 Ultra GPS watch, and this is from Mobvoi. This is a watch that is not a traditional watchmaker, but this is a company who has, for the last couple of years, put together some really cool watches and kind of great package kind of watches for their price. So, Luke, if you want to open that one up, I'll read off some specs for people watching or listening here.
Sure.
This one comes in a shadow black color, so that's what you're going to have inside there.
Yep.
This one has a stainless steel watch case with high-strength nylon and fiberglass.
Okay.
And it's going to have, in terms of specifications, people that, what's the processor, the RAM. This has a Qualcomm Snapdragon Wear 4100 processor with 1 gigabyte of RAM and 8 gigabytes of internal storage.
Wow.
So that's kind of par for the course for today's modern watch. Really not much need to go beyond that. Wear OS has been optimized a little bit between Google and Samsung now. They've made some changes over the last generation. So this one has a speaker built into it. It has NFC built into it, so it's designed for mobile payments. This also has a microphone. Screen size, this has a 1.4-inch display. Of course, this is a circular display. And it has 326 pixel per inch display.
Nice.
The watch strap, as you'll see here, it feels very nice. It feels like
It does feel very nice.
like a silicone, kind of easy to clean. If you get sweaty, it doesn't feel like it's going to ever get dirty. Like
it feels slick enough that things will just wipe off of it. It doesn't. It is textured on the outside, but smooth on the inside. So that's cool. As far as any kind of grime or anything.
These are replaceable. You can see there's two little
Yep.
kind of like pop release for the strap. Take it off.
Quick
So
release.
if you're looking for other watch straps, or if you have you want to change it up to go out to dinner,
It's a very common design, so you shouldn't have any problem finding a third-party one.
this one also has GPS built into it, which
nice.
is a distinction
Yeah.
that not all watches have. So what that will do is that'll kind of give you the flexibility for things like doing a run or a bike ride, and be able to work independently of the phone. Because for some people, their watches will still require them. They have GPS assistance that requires them to keep the watch with the phone,
Yep.
or it'll track the phone for the location while the activity goes through this. So this has, in terms of sensors, accelerometer, gyro, it's got a heart rate sensor, SpO2, low latency off body sensor, and it's got a barometer. This guy is IP68 rated,
Nice.
so don't worry about getting sweaty or getting stuck in the rain or even showers or stuff like that. This also has, it's designed for pools, swimming, and it also has the military standard testing, the 810G, so
Nice,
it's going to
Take a beating.
take a beating. Not that you want to
Sure.
give your watch a beating, but you don't have to take it off if you live a normal lifestyle. You can just kind of keep it with you. So Bluetooth 5, and it has let's see. Oh yeah, for NFC, it's got Google Pay as part of that. So
Very nice watch. It's not super heavy, but heavy enough that you can tell it's there. The charging is a nice magnetic charging, branded, Mobvoi, and it's just got two little prongs that magnetically stick. the one thing in stuff like that is you just got to make sure it's the right way. You know,
Sure.
If you're close, I think it'll get there by itself, but it's not. You know, we've seen ones that are universal or like a disc or something that you can set it down anywhere. This one, a little bit of a learning or practice to get it in the right spot, but a nice long cable, flat cable.
And that's one thing to keep in mind too. If you haven't purchased a smartwatch before or something with Wear OS, you know, as great as the platform is, it does require typically you're charging this thing every day, every other day. You just want to kind of, keep an eye on how much you're using it. If you're using more of just like the standby, just the clock stuff, then you're not really going to use, the battery as much. But if you're doing like the barometer, some of these sensors that are on, you're going to want to keep an eye on that. So if you travel, stay somewhere overnight or for the weekend, you're going to need to keep the cable. It is a proprietary plug.
Yeah, so you'll travel with it if you're taking it somewhere. The buttons on the side feel very nice. They turn really easy. They got some
travel.
Well, they have some texture on them, so you can tell when you're turning.
Knurling.
Yeah.
In the outside of it, but then like you can feel it clicking. Okay.
Yeah, man, I like this watch. I like the profile of it. It's consistent throughout the whole thing. You got these lines, kind of a fan blade type feel, and they continue it down the look of the watch band.
So about the band, this is it says unique high density material, provides excellent resistance to heat, oxidation, oil, and chemicals, while still being flexible enough to fit comfortably on your wrist.
Nice.
And it does feel like that. It feels like, I've had watches that, if it's like a leather band, you start sweating a little bit and it just soaks it up and it just looks bad. Something like this is going to clean up, give you the ability to just kind of wipe it down or take it off in the shower and, rinse out both sides if you get a little scummy, at the gym or whatever. This has access to 5 GPS systems.
Oh, wow.
So I think they're all listed on their website here. GPS, GLONASS, Galileo, QZSS, and Beidou. So when it comes to picking a route for a bike ride or tracking, you're going to have very accurate GPS tracking. So smartwatches, wearables, things like this are, for me, something that, I don't have one on right now. I plan to put this guy through the paces and review it and just basically test it out. But I kind of go hot and cold with watches.
Sure.
So for me, once I have it on there and I'm using it, I am reminded of all the cool things that Wear OS can do. Yeah. And then there will be a period or two where I'll just not wear it or charge it and kind of not put it on that day and come back and like, oh, you know what? I don't really need it.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily miss it.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll try it without for a little bit.
Yeah. So I am anxious to, because I haven't had a Wear OS experience as a daily driver for maybe a little more than a year. So the platform's gone through some updates. Yeah, I'm curious to try those out and to try another brand. I know that this brand has been reviewed by a handful of guys on the site, multiple models. They've done some written reviews. Yeah. So I'm anxious to get my hand or wrist on one of these myself. So that is the TicWatch Pro 3 Ultra GPS. Yeah. And in terms of price right now, it looks like pick it up for about $299 from the Mobvoi website.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Scott.
You got it.
See you soon.
All right, Luke, it's review time.
It is review time.
You have been spending some time with the Haymaker.
I have, the Haymaker headphones.
Tell me a little bit about those.
These are premium headphones. They are not cheap. They come in at, what is it?
About $330.
$330. So these are a Bluetooth and wired headphone. They have active noise canceling. But I will say that they are designed to be used without noise canceling. So we actually had a chance to talk with the designer and the maker of the Haymaker headphones and learned a lot of interesting stuff. These are tuned to be used Bluetooth or wired, but without active noise canceling. So technically, and he's way more knowledgeable about audio than I am. I know a lot about audio, but not as much as him. And active noise canceling actually degrades your sound quality. It's a huge selling feature right now in headphones. Everything has active noise canceling. Everybody wants to block out the outside noise when they're listening to stuff. But what that does is it creates a certain amount of pressure on your ears, and that actually changes some of the sound quality that you get. So these, while they have active noise canceling, because you kind of have to, these sound best with the active noise canceling off. Probably, honestly, to me, I don't notice the difference.
Okay.
But I don't have the sharpest ear of a true audiophile.
Right.
But I wanted to put that out there. The other thing, these have some RGB. They do some preset colors, so it's not full RGB spectrum. We can't do whatever color you want, but they have a normal spectrum that you have, like the red, blue, white, green, stuff like that.
And that's across the top?
On the top and on the sides. And you can toggle that on, whether it's Bluetooth or wired. And they have touch controls on the side on each earphone, and there's certain swipe patterns to do different things.
Okay.
So there's a swipe pattern for answering, for skipping a track, for changing the volume, and also for toggling on the lights. Now, I will say that is not plug and play for the most part. You're going to spend a little bit of time learning these headphones, but I think it's just like anything else, consumer electronics.
Sure.
Especially if you're spending this much on headphones, you're gonna learn how to use them correctly.
Yeah, you'll invest money and time, and if you buy a quality product, you may only have to buy that once.
Right.
And it will last you much longer than buying, say, an $80 pair and replacing them every 2 to 3 years.
Yep.
These are the types of headphones that you buy it once.
Yep.
Take care of them, put them away when you're done. They'll be there for you.
Yeah. These have, like I said, a wired or a wireless mode. The Bluetooth sounds great. Really easy to set up. Very simple. We all know how to set up Bluetooth now.
Sure.
The wired, for using like with a PC, there is a little software package to download. So it will work plug and play, but you get the full capabilities if you download that little driver package. The microphone quality on Bluetooth sounds great. I have had no complaints. I did some testing, made some phone calls, asked people what the sound quality was. Sounded great.
Sure.
And it's one of those things sometimes where if you're using headphones, I find, whether it's wireless or wired or anything, you can feel like you're talking very loud because it's hard to hear your voice. You don't get that with these. So that's another nice feature to have. The wired has an inline control for if you're controlling surround sound and a bass boost and a microphone mute, inline microphone mute. And again, no complaints on the sound quality. Wired was playing some online gaming and everybody could hear me fine. These have two different types of ear cups that it comes with. It has they're both memory foam, but one is a cloth and the other is like a wrapped kind of faux leather. Both very soft. Like I said, they're memory foam. Very comfortable. I found in testing that I preferred the cloth over the faux leather. The faux leather has, while it's just as cushion, as much cushion, I think it doesn't let as much compression maybe as the cloth with prolonged use. So, and you know, that's a user preference, I think, based on what you prefer.
Sure.
I don't think that's a miss, or I don't think that's a disadvantage of these.
When it comes to replacing those, how does that process work? Is
It's
it hard?
magnetic.
Okay.
So they kind of just come out, and just the other one snaps right on.
Okay.
It's very, very simple to do. It has a USB-C port for charging. Comes with braided cables, very nice braided cables. It comes with a carrying case with a carabiner, so you can put it on the back of a backpack. You can snap it on luggage if you're traveling with it. The case also has some pockets that you can fit more than just the cords in. There's a really deep pocket in the back, and it has access for pass through. So if you were wired and wanted it to stay wired, you can keep it connected while it's in the case. That's a really nice feature. It seems like they did a lot of thought went into what is the best experience you can give your users.
Sure.
With kind of also making it cool. They look very cool. The lights glow, but it's not like obnoxious RGB. It's very it has the Haymaker font on the headband, and that the letters glow, and then the sides are designed with their logo, and those glow really nice. It's not showy. It's not obnoxious. It's a very cool looking set of headphones. They are, like we've said, they are a little bit of a learning curve.
Okay.
So I found myself.
So it's like a muscle memory after a while, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So there's just certain functions with, it's a swipe up and then back and then up for certain things. Or
do you have any starting point, like buttons or like nubs or anything? Okay.
No. So there's two, or there's one kind of toggle switch, and that's for Bluetooth and active noise canceling and off. But there's no kind of starting point, no pressing. It's all touch. So there's not like if you press in, there's not like a subtle click or anything that we've seen with some touch functionality. It's just truly just a tap or a swipe.
Okay.
But once you figure out where that stuff is and learn it, it's very intuitive. And it works well. It's consistent. That's the other thing that we've seen with other touch based electronics.
Yeah.
Is that they can seem inconsistent, but that also might just be the learning curve.
Yeah.
A lot of times you're just gonna have to learn how to use some stuff.
Yeah.
But these work well once you learn how to use it. I don't really have much more to say about them other than they're really nice.
What about the only question I can think of is there any type of like fatigue from wearing them after a while? Do they have like a pressing on the temples?
No, they're very comfortable. They have full adjustment, so you can adjust. If even if you have, none of us are fully symmetrical unless you're a model or something. But if your one ear is slightly higher than the other, you can adjust that. You can lengthen the ear cup from the headband, and it's they're very easy to use. I did find from the only fatigue, and I mentioned it before, is the faux leather was a little bit uncomfortable, but when I switched to the cloth ear cups, no problems at all. These things are pretty lightweight too for what they are, so it's not like a headphone that you will feel after prolonged use. It's not like you're like, oh man. And they don't get hot either, so sometimes that happens. Not hot like the electronics overheat. Hot where it's holding in all the
you want to take your ear off and just kind of like wipe it.
Yeah, feel like you're sweaty.
Or,
I didn't notice that.
Okay.
And I played some games. I was wearing them for a couple hours, and I didn't have any problem. Which with others, I've ran into that.
Sure.
So, yeah, I really don't have anything bad to say about these at all. They're very, very nice, very well made. Really cool company. They really care about the audio. These things are direct tuned. But even before they were sent out to be direct tuned, they went through the paces of tuning it themselves
in-house.
too.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a very modern set of headphones. Has all the amenities that you'll find in competitive headphones, but they really focused on making them the best sounding headphones that they can. And still have all the functionality that you want.
Sure.
Yeah, it's a really cool company. They're doing some cool stuff, and they really care about giving a quality product. And you can even see that on their website. There's a lot of really good information, and it seems like they respond to reviews and really want, if you have a problem, they want to help you out. So very cool Haymaker headphones.
Yeah.
They're pricey, but I would say they're definitely worth it.
Okay. And you can find those at the-haymaker.com.
Awesome.
Thank you, Luke.
No problem.
And welcome back.
Hey.
We've got one more review.
Yeah, we do.
This is kind of a tag team review. We actually are now able to talk about a phone or phones that are available, have been launched, and we can share our reviews of those. So this is the realme brand, the 9 Pro and the 9 Pro Plus.
Yep.
So they both sound like premium and kind of leaves room for a 9 somewhere down the road, or maybe a 9 Lite, or however the phone makers decide to do these things.
Right.
So the 9 Pro, and then there's the Plus. And there are some differences between these two.
Yeah.
Luke, you had a chance. You spent time with the 9 Pro Plus.
Yeah, I did.
And I have been using the 9 Pro. And so let's talk a little bit about these.
Okay.
Without diving through every little thing.
Sure.
What's the high general reaction to that phone for you?
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah, I hadn't used a realme phone as a daily driver before, so I was excited to live with their, the realme OS, which is slightly different than stock Android. I've been living in stock Android for a couple years now, so I wanted to get kind of just a new perspective on Android, and it's great. I like the customization that you get. You get a little bit more personalization. Not really any feature ads of things that are like, oh man, I wish the stock Android experience was what had this. So it has everything that way, but just personalization where when you get a text message, it'll just do an edge light. You have some animations for your fingerprint unlock. A couple little things like that. Just a little added, hey, make it your own kind of thing.
Yeah.
A little bit more control on the color of the UI than you do in the stock Android. Things like that were welcome addition. The refresh rate of the screen was very nice.
Yep.
Resolution of the screen was good. I didn't notice any kind of anything that I missed from my normal daily driver is a Pixel 6 Pro. And I didn't really notice a change that perceivable. I mean, it's different.
Sure.
But it's not anything where I was like, man, this display is not as good.
Yeah.
It was still definitely did what I needed to do.
Yep.
The other thing, I guess, of note is this color. So this is the sunrise blue.
I believe that is the color.
It is
sunrise blue.
so cool. So it's like this blue. It's kind of hard to see with this light, but you go just search this phone, you'll find pictures of it. But it's this kind of pearlescent blue design. But when it gets out into a UV light, it changes to this kind of pink orange color. It's almost like the hypercolor stuff. And then when you come back inside, it'll stay that pink orange reddish kind of color until it cools off is not the right word, but it just slowly fades to this blue.
Yeah.
Really cool. Like,
it is a cool effect.
It's not a selling point of the phone, but it's a nice little touch of like, oh, that's cool.
It's something that you can see a lot of other phone makers mimicking at a later date.
Yeah, it's one of those things that just because you can, they did.
Yeah.
It comes with, in the box, it comes with a clear case, so you don't have to worry about, hiding that. That's one of the first things of like, you want to put a case on your phone, but when it has a cool like feature like that, you don't want to cover it up. Yep. So it comes with a clear case. The other thing about this is this has a Sony sensor for the camera. What is the actual name of it? Because it's hard to remember.
So that is the Sony. It's a 50 megapixel, right?
Yep, 50 megapixel sensor. But it's the first time it's been in a phone.
The IMX 766.
Yeah. So this sensor, it's the first time it's been in a phone in the United States.
Yeah, in the mid-range.
Yeah. This camera is incredible.
Yeah.
Like it really is incredible. It's one of those things where you use it and you go, as a Pixel 6 user, you go, why not us?
Yeah, right? Yeah.
It has, it has all the features too. It's a triple camera system with also with this front-facing selfie cam. But it has telephoto, it has a super wide camera, and then also you have macro into it. And it just is consistent, and it's a nice crisp picture. It has no focus issues. It knows. It has the smarts to know what you want to take a picture of when you point your camera.
Yeah,
and that's one thing I found with my 6 Pro is that I have to tell it what I want it to focus on, and it's not something I ever really had to do with my Pixel before. And so when you go back to a camera that kind of is a little more intuitive, it's refreshing.
Yeah.
Makes you want to take pictures more. The other thing about this phone is the battery life is great. Like it lasts all day, no problem. It doesn't have as fast of a processor as my Pixel. So there's a little bit of a trade-off there, probably. But it still did everything I needed to do, and I didn't feel like I was waiting too long compared to my Pixel.
Sure.
It's not as fast. It's just not as fast of a processor. But for what I do, it works completely fine. The other thing is it has face unlock.
Yeah.
And a in-screen fingerprint sensor that works very well.
Yeah, it's a pain point for me as a Pixel 6 user. Is the technology behind that fingerprint reader versus the other one. On the Pixel, it wants to light up and read the finger. That one has a different technology. It's much quicker.
Yep.
And it's also nice to have face unlock. Yeah. Like literally picking it up and it's unlocked as you kind of like grab the phone to get into it. Yeah. So there are some differences. And to your point, I feel almost 100% in line with everything you said. I've used a couple of realme phones now, and they are a treat to use.
Yeah.
They are, for me, one of those things where I can get away with so much on this phone that costs so little compared to what other phones are.
Sure.
And these are mid-range phones, but they are no slouch mid-range kind of like, this is yesterday's, flagship. These feel every bit as capable as I would expect a phone to be. But you're looking at, $350, $400.
That's amazing.
For something like this. So some of the differences to kind of point out between the two. So I had the 9 Pro, and just a couple of the specifications to kind of point out there. Mine has, and these both run Android 12.
Yep.
With the Realme UI 3.
Yep.
Which have that software capabilities and enhancements, personalization. Really kind of, spend 10 minutes playing with it, and that phone looks very much you.
Yeah.
You pick it up and go, oh, I like this. This feels really good.
Yeah.
The 9 Pro has a 6.6-inch display at 1080 by 2400, where your 9 Pro Plus has a 6.4-inch, so it's a slightly smaller. Now, whereas mine is a 120 hertz refresh rate.
Yeah.
It's an LCD display. Yours is a 90 hertz Super AMOLED display.
Yeah.
So that is something that, at 90 hertz and above, you're still looking at a buttery smooth experience. If you get into 120, 144, you're kind of doing really well for yourself, because not everything is optimized to take advantage of that anyways. Sure. So, 90 and above is nice.
Yeah.
And if you have used it, you know the difference.
Yeah.
You've played the games or done the scrolling and thought, boy, this just feels smooth.
Yeah.
This just feels really cool. Let's see what else we have. Your 9 Pro Plus comes with 6 gigabytes of RAM or 8, and that's paired with 128 gigabytes of storage. And there's also an 8 gigabyte version with 256.
Yeah.
Now, for me, the 9 Pro, that one is available in 6 gigabyte and 8 gigabyte with 128.
Okay.
So the 9 Pro Plus gives you a little bit more.
A little more.
That available. Let's see what else. For your phone, you have a 4,500 milliamp hour battery. Mine is a 5,000 milliamp hour.
Okay.
I can fast charge mine at 33 watts.
Nice.
Where, according to GSM Arena, they say that you could fast charge yours up to 60 watts.
Okay.
And that's a big difference.
It is.
If you've had time or experience when you move to that 25, 30 watt, that's much quicker than the phones you're used to maybe 2 years ago, last generation of phone. You get into these 60 watt and it's kind of like it's like using a laptop charger for your phone and it taking it, being able to handle that. This one, same as yours. You've got the power button on the right, and you've got your volume button on the left. Whereas with yours, same thing. I like the face unlock. I like the fingerprint reader. I like having the choice.
Yeah.
I don't like it when I'm kind of told, hey, you have to use this fingerprint reader. Or key in a pad, a number thing, because it sounds stupid and trivial, but it slows you down when you want to do something just as simple as checking a text.
It would be okay, I think, to me, is if I'd never had the option, I wouldn't really know the difference.
Yep.
It would be okay. But now that I've had the opportunity to have the fast fingerprint reader, and the Pixel 6 Pro is not slow. It's really in the broad scheme of things, it works.
Yep.
It just doesn't work as well as other phones. And when you go back to something that has all of the options for you, you kind of are left going, why was this not included?
Yeah, like, how come you guys didn't do this?
Right.
One other big distinction between these, the 9 Pro has a MediaTek Dimensity 920 processor, and yours has the Qualcomm Snapdragon 695. These are both 5G phones.
Yep.
And that is one thing that we should qualify.
Yeah.
Because these phones do show 5G where we are.
Yes.
We put in, both of us, I believe, T-Mobile SIM.
Yep.
Work well. There are some places that you found did not pick up the 5G the same way that your Pixel did.
Right.
Because of...
Yeah, and also I found that I had to enable it. So it wasn't enabled off the bat. And then certain places where I normally have 5G service, I was on Edge on this phone.
Yeah.
And if we remember Edge,
2G,
not great.
Yeah.
It was it was less than a desirable experience.
Sure.
I still had phone service. I could still make calls, and that was totally fine.
But even receiving a high-resolution photo...
Right. Nope, didn't work.
Yeah.
I had to wait to download when I was on Wi-Fi or back into high speed. And then I also had a strange issue where it was prioritizing mobile data over Wi-Fi. And I did some messing around in the settings, and I couldn't figure out exactly what was going on with that. So I know we got sent these devices. I did run updates, all the updates that were available, but I don't know if these were pre-launch devices. I don't know if there was something different.
Sure.
But I do want to say that as part of the review that some of that was interesting to me. I'd never run into that problem in any other smartphone that I can remember that would prioritize my mobile data over the Wi-Fi, given a strong Wi-Fi signal. I've been in situations where if it's spotty Wi-Fi, you can have it prefer a continuous connection, but I even changed those toggles and was still having the problem.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. I don't think that's a reason to not buy the phone. It's a great phone.
My big takeaway from Realme as a whole is I'm really excited about the brand and what they're doing physically with their phones. They appear to punch above their weight. They do punch above their weight in terms of price from what we're used to. I love the competition that it brings to the U.S. market.
Absolutely.
With some qualifications when you look at, hey, is this truly going to work for me in terms of my network coverage?
Right.
And you can look on the box, you can look on their website and see the bands and the support. And if you really want to, dive into it, you can check with your carrier to see what you might expect, where you might expect that.
Sure.
Not quite, and again, these are, these may not be a global version of the box. Like sometimes they will release a European or Indian version of the device. So I don't know definitively if we received a global variant.
Sure.
So if you do receive that, then that really opens up the door to even more coverage. But because we're not a US only website or channel, we were able to take a look at these. So if you are a US subscriber, you're on T-Mobile or Mint or AT&T, Cricket, one of those types of MVNOs, you should be good.
Yeah.
And really, if you fall back to 4G, that's still a thing where 4G was great. 5G just kind of becomes icing on the cake for some people. But all that is, personal preference and what you expect price-wise, and, for your own money. But I would say generally very high marks for the Realme brand, and I would say for the 9 Pro, and then you had the 9 Pro Plus.
Yep.
Would you say the same?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you, Luke.
Thank you.
All right, that's going to do it for this episode of the podcast.
Thanks for listening.
We appreciate it. If you guys have any questions, feedback, concerns, comments, anything, shoot us an email at podcast@AndroidGuys.com. We'd love to hear from you one way or the other. Luke, if someone wants to get a hold of you, how do they do that?
I am on Instagram and Twitter at Luke Gaul, Gaul.
And I'm on Instagram at Scott Webster and Twitter as SWebster77. Until next time, thanks for listening.
See ya.